game that started with a double. Blake saved 3 break points. Randy Roddick with 1 break captured the first set. James Blake has the break early in the second. As we start the summer hard court season, of course, that's going back to the spring hard courts,
including the Australian Open, which Federer won, but Blake in second place thus far and building on that. Roddick, of course, looking to add 1 to his tally as well today. Both of these players scheduled to play frequently during the U.S. Open Series. Roddick taking a wild card. He'll be flying to Los Angeles later today after his doubles final to play out there at the L.A. Open. Blake taking next week off and then coming back. Starting up in Washington, D.C. and then running through Toronto, Cincinnati, and New Haven en route to the U.S. Open.
One that Roddick has missed a net.
Up quickly on it, did everything right except the finish here. Ted made a bad call. We've got this great technology. We have this great technology that the players get to use if they think the linesman has made a mistake, and we've not had 1 challenge today, and I'm frustrated.
First double from Roddick, and it's 30 all.
And we've only shown 1 for our benefit. These guys need to hit it closer to the lines. That's what they paint them for. Come on, boys.
Blake's starting to get the return time a little bit more in the second set.
Yes, he is. 127-mile-an-hour first serve. Not much of a backswing, but this thing is behind Roddick before he can even think about it. And get that off of the court. Goes body on that serve. And 1-2 combination saves that one, and possibly the set for Roddick. Going down 2 breaks, never a good thing. But man, is that a 1-2 that's unstoppable. Nice ratios for both players. Winners to unforced errors. Another winner for Blake.
Advantage Blake.
And you have to follow that in if you're Roddick. It's the right play. You have to keep applying pressure, but Blake had the answer. Using that slice to tease Blake into going for too much. And Blake bid on it.
Advantage in Roddick.
There's a save by Roddick. Saved the break point to stay in the set.
In the second set, we've seen Blake really step up the aggression on the Roddick serve. When he's returning, just going for it, the inside-out backhand there, taking it nice and early. Look how far Blake is inside the baseline here, stepping up. That was the cold winter we saw in the last game. You have to time it perfectly. And so far, so good in set 2 for Blake in that account.
15 long.
Boy, he's You can hear Roddick's frustration. There was an 89-mile-an-hour second serve. And Blake back down the middle for 7th ace.
Backhand down the line from Roddick one more time. So really variety is what's going on here with Andy Roddick's game. We've seen him slicing that backhand, rolling it cross court, which is more typical, and then employing aggressive down the line play with success.
Roddick looking.
40-15.
No challenge.
Take a look for our own benefit and how far this one was out. There it is.
And it's the Hawkeye technology. If you've watched tennis, you've become accustomed to seeing it. That's the same technology that's being employed in the electronic review system.
Is that how I have to say it? Electronic review system? I can't just say replay or Hawkeye or challenge.
Depends if you want somebody to buy you dinner or not.
Oh my goodness, well said. I'm good. Ooh, this could hurt. Thankfully they're friends, because that one, if Yvonne Lendl was on the court, you're his opponent, you just knew there was a bullseye on your chest.
Last 3 now service games. Both plays have been grinds. Both Blake and Roddick been able to hold. Mr. Thing had no challenge yet. James Blake has challenged more this week than any player in the draw. 10 challenges, 4 won, 6 lost. Second set. Staple every week in Indianapolis in the summertime. The RCA Dogs, Nipper and Chipper. Folks all week long been able to stop by, get a picture taken with them for a small donation. And the proceeds from the pictures with Nipper and Chipper benefit the Riley Children's Hospital in Indianapolis. James Blake had an edge. It's gone now in the second set. Roddick with a break back for 2-3 on serve.
See Roddick consistent across the board. And winning those second serve points means he's doing very well with his court positioning. Dominating a little bit, although certainly we've seen Blake step in and take healthy cuts in this set with good effect. Those are excellent numbers to be anything over 60 on the first serve. And percentage-wise, it was very strong.
Do you notice more of a mix-up in Roddick's serves?
I do. I do. He's not only mixing his spots, he's mixing his speeds. He's going some to the body. A little bit of variety, keeping all of his opponents off kilter a little bit is a good idea. It's good to know you've got the big bullet when you need it, but keep people a little off balance. And let's see if Blake can recover from dropping his last service game.
Remember, Blake had a point for 4-love in this set.
Get ready, you know he's capable of doing that. Come on.
Now Roddick a point
Get ready for that first ball.
for 3-all.
Excellent tennis. Roddick consolidates that break. 3-all.
Well, coming up next on NBC, AVP volleyball back at the McDonald's Chicago Open. Misty May, Kerry Walsh, the Olympic champions, back in action. The McDonald's Chicago Open, presented by Nautica, comes up next on NBC.
Come on. Cross round service there.
First time that James Blake has ever won a match in Indianapolis this week. Hasn't played here a lot through the years. What a way to break through if he could beat Roddick to be the champion here.
This tournament used to be a double-up week tournament leading into the U.S. Open. Roddick will frame this forehand and catch Blake off balance. New Haven was the other tournament paired up against this one, so obviously for Blake, being from Connecticut, he would prefer to play in the home environment. Now that they're separated, Blake has made himself available for Indianapolis. Take a look at James Blake's service profile here in a second. Not nearly as good on the first serve or on the second serve, points won compared to Roddick. Still on serve here in the second. Blake's toss is so far in front on his first serve. Feels like his margin for error might be less because it's so far in front of him. And he has to hit the flat one when the toss is that far out there.
He's overcome some double fault problems. He had a couple yesterday in the third set against Xavier Elise. 4 so far. Can the receiver read when that toss is that far in front?
Well, you have to know. You have to know that yeah, when the ball's that far out in front, it's really hard to serve wide.
Serve, and a backhand winner by Blake, his 7th today. Roddick at 6-4, 3-4 here in the finals at Indianapolis. 8 aces so far for Roddick.
Roddick, the variety. We know he has the big gun, taking it up the middle, carving it away, but the slider out wide, that's only about 115 miles an hour, but it's still effective. More so when you know that he might go at your body too. And I've seen Andy Roddick hit players. First time I saw that happen, playing Pete Sampras when he was 18 years old down at the NASDAQ. Roddick beamed him right in the chest with a first serve. And Bean Pete. I was on my couch watching. I stood up and said, I think we may have something. Yeah.
15-love.
Ace number 9, just on cue. Thank you. 130 miles an hour. I think it's more impressive when it's in kilometers and it's over 200.
I was so impressed during this last changeover. Roddick sat down for about 4 seconds. And he was up prowling around behind the baseline, ready to go. And James Blake, that's a warm summer afternoon, took advantage of the full sit-down time.
Roddick is antsy to get back in the top 10, isn't he? Ready to run here. 15:30, Blake handling anything he can get his racket on return-wise right now. Very, very deftly. Just clips the tape on that one, but he had a good look at it. Tag. Another break point chance. And this serve is not getting very wide. That's pretty much wheelhouse for the big forehand that Blake has, and he makes no mistake. See Blake 1 for 3 in his chances so far. That was huge.
Yeah, no spinning the wide one there. 139. Here it comes, big boy. Still fascinated when I watch Roddick serve. Think that this is an accidental motion. He just discovered it one day in practice.
If you're watching here, Roddick's service toss is probably 1 foot further back from James Blake if they tossed it up and let it bounce on the court. .143. Fastest today. Oh my goodness, there was the body blow.
Self-defense.
Oh goodness. That was 142. Thank you a very little. Roddick looking for some help from above on that second serve. He's not going to get it. Back the deuce.
That's just, you see the frustration. It's such a momentum killer. Suddenly, that's what you mean by the double being a momentum killer. I mean, he's rolling with the serve. Looks like he's going to hold. And now it's pretty much the set on the line on this point. Although Roddick has had some break chances.
He has, but certainly we give Blake the edge, serving for the set. Cannot touch that, though. 127. Ace number 11. Roddick has stepped up his ace count here in the second set. 7 thus far. That time, Roddick got the serve wide enough to the Blake forehand to get it out of that sweet spot so Blake couldn't just crack a winner. that in for Roddick.
Blake looking, but no challenge. Knew it was out. So 4-all. Much different set, though. Both men have had a lot of looks and the other man's serve.
A lot longer games this set. The first set was ready, fire, aim tennis. Too good. Just too good. Some great court coverage from Roddick just to stay alive in this point. I mean, this is a great dig. He slides into, but Blake flips that one up over his head. Blake's service toss, Ted, he cannot hit a kick serve with that. So you know he's going to have to either hit it flat or put a little bit of slice on it with the ball so far in front of him. So it takes that element of guesswork out for the return serve. And even his second serve has slice on it. A bit like Dementieva on the women's side. She can't really hit a kick serve either. I'm certainly not comparing James.
I was just going to say, James would not want that.
Just a strategic comment.
Yes, understood.
You guys are sensitive. My point is the extreme toss is a tip for the returner. Just to clarify. It's hard to hit a serve like that.
Thank you. The RCA Tennis Championships are brought to you by RCA, changing entertainment again. Find out more at RCA.com. By Lever 2000 with Vaseline lotion ingredients, the perfect match to refresh and replenish your skin. And by ADT, America's residential and commercial security leader. Something I always enjoy when you watch Andy Roddick play is he lets you know exactly how he feels.
We like our athletes that let us into the competition with them. We like to see the blood, sweat, and tears.
We like to see them engaged.
Well, you know they care. These guys have committed their life to doing what they're doing right now. So you know they care, but it's nice when they share that with you. And you get to feel that emotional roller coaster with them, because that's exactly what this is for both players. This is a roller coaster, this whole journey. And James Blake has been on a journey, now trying to find himself in the third set, but his life has been a very interesting ride thus far.
I think that 15 months ago, James Blake's ranking was still in the 200s. And tomorrow morning, he'll wake up number 5 in the world.
And what was it, Tunica, Mississippi? He was playing a challenger.
That's right.
And about, what was that, April, I think, of 2005. And now, top 5 on the planet at his job. That's pretty good. That's really good stuff. My goodness. 3 set points, and Blake has even got a little bit of an apology to Roddick for this. He's got nothing to apologize for. This is just a genius forehand. There was no mistake there. That was not a frame. That was just brilliant.
And he's thinking he hasn't seen that since Federer. Wow. 3 set points.
See if Blake steps in and cracks a backhand here. Didn't have to.
Roddick is challenging.
Oh, it was an overrule from Carlos Ramos.
Right.
What's up?
Now here, I've got an issue with this, Ted.
He overruled.
Why is the umpire getting in the middle of this? That's what we have the technology for. The umpire needs to step back and let the players decide if they want to challenge that stuff. We don't have enough time in this broadcast for me to talk about how that needs to work. Got him.
Well, the result does not change, and we'll go to a 3rd set for the championship in Indianapolis. 3rd set, Blake to serve. Jim Bexley, your last comment, obviously you feel strongly about the chair
15 long.
overruling when technology is in place. It's difficult, though, to ask umpires in any sport to not do their job, even though technology is present. You just want the player to have an out, right?
I like the players, if they're going to use the challenges, I like them to be forced to use it. That's the intrigue element.
15 long.
But a player can challenge an umpire's overrule.
That's the out. So the umpire still is able to do his or her job, but the player has the recourse.
Yeah, and there would be nothing that would make me happier than challenging a chair umpire is overrule and being right. That's the ultimate as a tennis player, I think.
15.
So Andy Roddick, who had a perfect serving week, broken twice in the 2nd set.
And you think about how Roger Federer has handled Roddick's serve in the past, and it's been more about really blunting the power and just blocking the ball back and then trying to win from the baseline from there. But Blake has a different tactic. He's going all aggressive. It certainly worked. In Queens, it worked for Blake. It's working here so far. And this is a very even match. Obviously, look at the scoreboard. And what's interesting now is you see both of these players really coming to the net a lot more. A lot of these points being finished right up at the net.
First game. Final set.
Blake with a hole to start the 3rd. Let's update the numbers. Boy, quality tennis, Jim.
Big time, big time. You look at the winners to unforced errors ratio, and you see both players well in the positive column there. And pretty equal on the break point chances. The level of tennis has been very high. The defense that both of these players, the digs they're making, forcing the guy to hit one extra shot, that's what's impressing me. That's awesome. That's awesome. That's a top spin forehand volley on the dead stretch from Roddick. Watch the shot.
15 long.
Flips it. Oof, that is awesome stuff. Always having a little bit of a laugh with each other because Blake almost put the lefty on that one to get it back on a two-handed backhand when he has a full-time one-hander. road warriors this summer. Neither has a girlfriend, so not necessarily dying to get back home. How is that possible? These guys don't have girlfriends.
That, to me, falls under the category temporary condition.
Okay, well said.
But thank you for the update.
It's my civic duty. So, let the 2 million plus women out there that are interested know. Keep hope alive.
It's been a little quieter this week here. The J Block has not come to Indianapolis. Rabid group of supporters of James, most of them from Connecticut, that were such a presence at the Open last year.
Organized for some of the tournaments this summer to have J Block official merchandise, with all proceeds benefiting James's charity foundation. Both of these guys do a lot of giving. Both of these guys very present in the off season at the charity circuit. Roddick with his own event, Blake as well. And oftentimes you'll see both of them at the same event helping each other out. Frustration there from Roddick on the deep second serve. That one just inside the line. Not enough offense in that backhand. A very passive return. Now 40-15 for Blake. And if he's serving under 100 miles an hour on the second serve, Roddick needs to be firm with the return. That's firm. That will work.
There's your right call it. 96 on the serve. And about 106 on the return.
That is right where you would like it if you're returning. Blake will need to vary that a little bit more. Or just increase his first serve percentage, which is only at 53%. Roddick fought off that second serve at only 85 miles an hour, but a tough kicker. Drew the error. Left the Blake forehand. Back to deuce. Great depth from both players there. And Ted, we've talked about this for years when we've worked together. But when Roddick matches, looking at his court positioning, and he's definitely hugging the baseline more. You expect to see that from Blake, who plays up on top of the baseline. But not Roddick. He's doing a better job today. But Blake holds on. 2-1 lead, third set.
Championship match on serve, third set. Jim, if there's one thing that you think has gotten Blake back in it, what would it be?
I think that Blake he's matured with his shot selection. He's always had such great foot speed, but he's been a little too aggressive for my liking when he particularly would get out of position, Blake, the old Blake would go for broke, go for a winner. Now you're seeing the great defense that he's able to play because he's getting back into the points using that foot speed he possesses. Realizing that a miss from his opponent counts the same as a winner from him. Look, it's situational, Ted. You have to play offense when you play a guy like Roddick, because it's first to the punch wins. But when you are on defense, stay in it when you've got the great wheels like James possesses. Use that speed to get you back in position to use your go-to shot, which is the forehand. You're as good as anybody once you have the forehand.
It seemed like James played that way even on clay this year when he had the 5-setter with Monfils, the French, and was in good shape at one point, but continued to play a lot of go-for-broke tennis.